group. So I have been waiting a lot, like a lot amount of time to just share it, and today I got the opportunity as well. So I'll start. Uh, Let me know if my screen is visible.
Yes.
Okay. So, hey guys, I am Megesh Shanoy, and for today we will be learning about the Mulesoft automations and particularly Mulesoft Compose. So recently, Mulesoft Composer has got the required boost, I would say, in terms of automations and in terms of how we can get an end-to-end automation for businesses. So. Uh, Yeah. So I am your speaker again, Megesh Shenoy. I am a Salesforce developer with around 2 years of experience. I am also a PD1 certified, and then also recently I cleared my JavaScript certification as well, and a certified Mulesoft mentor. I'm very active in the Trailblazer community forum as well. So this is just a brief introduction about me, and let's dig into today's topic, which is on Mulesoft Composer. But before going into Mulesoft Composer, let's understand what automation truly means, right? Mulesoft, Salesforce, and there are other competitors in the market who just uses the term automation and data silos, and these are the terms which you would hear for the next century as well, because each and every technology is working on only these two terms. They try to solve problems regarding data silos and also automation. So the standard definition of automation is the technique of making an apparatus, a process, or a system operate automatically. Right. So in very simple terms, it means that whatever process you are trying to do today, I would rather have a machine to do it in place of you, so that you can concentrate on other critical tasks which can't be automated very easily. And automation is not very limited to IT, but automation also ranges from manufacturing or mechanical or transportation, also includes wastewater management and facilities, security, environmental control, and the list goes on and on. So this is a brief about automation. Again, I would repeat, automation is basically a thing a computer will do in place of you, or we will develop a process which will do it rather than you doing it and spending your time. So, just 20 years back, or I would rather say just 10 years back, we were not having any mobile phones with us. The smartphone technology was not there. We had to go to PCOs to make a call, enter 1 rupee coin, make a call, and it was all that stuff happening. And would you have been thought that integration would have been that easy? We used to write a code which used to be very lengthy and very difficult to maintain, and over the time it became a burden over the IT developers, because they had to refactor the code every now and then based upon the based upon the new standards emerging, and it became very difficult. And over the time, businesses too started to expand based upon the customer responses they got, right? Because if customer says that I am not having a good service, then the organization would again restructure and use products internally which would help them get good experiences to their customers as well. And with that, 82% of business teams say they need easy access to data and IT capabilities, because our organization started to expand, right? And they started to onboard each and every product which they thought that would help the businesses upscale and grow. And only 37% of organizations say that they have the technology and skills to pace. Everyone are not privileged to have a good developers or a good set of developers in today's generation. If we have 100 developers, only 20% of them would be working very efficiently and will be using the good standards, right? And only 37% of company organizations have it. So if you see that, the range is very large. I mean, only from 3700 minus 37, if you can think, the range is very large, where companies are not having developers to even have their applications integrated. So with that, companies had some set of goals, or they came to certain set of goals that they need to improve their efficiency and also employ productivity and focus on mission critical tasks which cannot be automated. The employees, you need to focus on some tasks which cannot be automated, like sending an emails to higher management and all those stuff, right? These can't be automated very easily. And they needed to also use resources very efficiently. I don't want that a single resource should be only doing one task a day. I want that a single resource should be doing many tasks as much he can be, so that he or she can be efficiently utilized. Also, as businesses started to expand, the customers expectations started to increase day by day, and with that the another goal was accelerating expectations. And at last, when recession happened, another goal which company came to know was do more with less. If they are having five resources, they need to do as much as they can from the five resources, and not have 10 resources to do a task which can be done by five resources. That will be very costly to the company in terms of finance, as well as um, in terms of scaling. So this is why we need to use automation. Automation can help you decrease the company cost, as well as increase the company profitability in terms of longer run. So with the scenario, I would rather say that about automation. So currently, a sales team creates and maintains sales data in Salesforce and orders data in NetSuite. Every time an opportunity record is updated to close one in Salesforce, they have to create a sales order for the products from that opportunity in NetSuite. And then they have to, again, if currently if an automation is not there, then each and every time my sales team uses Salesforce, they send the data to my NetSuite via mails. Now, for if my company is very small, then yeah, I can handle this scenario a bit. It will be difficult, but still I can handle the scenario. But if my product started to get enormous responses from my customers, then you can understand, if I am creating 100 records and sending out 100 emails to my NetSuite admin about this, there may be very high chance that the NetSuite admin would in those mails, those records would be gone. And at end of the day, if your product is still performing good, but because of your inefficient techniques of working internally, would cause a damage to the company, and it can cause a company as well.
Some automation packages.
Right. So MuleSoft, the initial offering of MuleSoft was just Anypoint platform. Anypoint platform, is meant for API-led connectivity, where you can integrate multiple systems with the help of the factor reusability of assets, promoted the use of Anypoint platform more and more, and it started to integrate multiple systems very easily. And I had went through a MuleSoft industry champions program. Over there, I had gone through so many use cases from banking, telecom sector, and each and every customer was so happy onboarding MuleSoft Anypoint platform. Their productivity increased day by day, and they were, even migrate from the legacy integrations to MuleSoft integrations, and with the help of API-led connectivity, their businesses improved. And not only this, MuleSoft recently released MuleSoft Composer and RPA. Even though Composer was released last 2 years back, but right now it has gotten the required boost to upscale. And with that, recently MuleSoft also launched MuleSoft RPA. So so these three products can easily communicate with each other. I can call an RPA from Composer, or I can call an RPA from Anypoint platform, and vice versa. But why use MuleSoft RPA? Basically, if suppose I have an organization that started in 1980s. They onboarded a system, and right now it's a legacy system which are not having any APIs exposed to it, right? So with that, what happens is onboarding a system becomes very easy for any organization, but offboarding a system very difficult, because as time progresses, the integrations of that system becomes very much increasing, and there you don't know that how many other systems are dependent on that single system. And because of that, some companies find very difficult to move from legacy system to a newer SaaS application, right? And with that, MuleSoft RPA came into picture. MuleSoft RPA can interact with legacy systems very easily, and with that, it can then send data to MuleSoft Compose or Anypoint platform to process it. So basically, your data from one legacy system where no APIs are exposed can now be used by Compose or Anypoint platform, and with that, we have an entire package with us. And that's why it's rightly said, automate anything, empower everyone, and deliver success now. This is where MuleSoft automation package came into picture. Again, I would reiterate that these three products, MuleSoft Composer, Anypoint Platform, and MuleSoft RPA, can now provide you end-to-end automation, right from systems which don't have APIs exposed to systems that are very difficult to interact with. They can do the automations very easily right now. So even if your company is using legacy systems, they can still use MuleSoft to to integrate, to use MuleSoft RPA with their legacy systems, onboard new systems according to it, and slowly they can too migrate out of the system with the help of MuleSoft automation package, if they use very efficiently and they have a very good plan. And with that, again, MuleSoft, many companies found that 27% of their automation became faster. Business automations became faster with help of MuleSoft automation package. And again, their slogan became automate anything, empower everyone, deliver success now. This is what MuleSoft automation package is all about, the success. I did talk about three products, namely MuleSoft RPA, MuleSoft Composer, and MuleSoft Anypoint Platform. So for the use case, which sometimes you may be coming across scenarios where I can use MuleSoft Anypoint Platform or RPA or Composer, but which one should I go for? These three are the very simple and the very common questions which people come across very frequently. And with that, I have kept them according to their level. So starting from MuleSoft Composer, which is very simple, any MuleSoft Anypoint platform, which can become complex depending upon your use cases, and MuleSoft RP at the bottom. Why MuleSoft Composer? Because MuleSoft, with the help of MuleSoft Composer, without writing a single line of code, you can integrate multiple systems. Then MuleSoft Anyone platform. With that, you can write code or you cannot write. Depending upon your business use case, MuleSoft Anyone platform is like a moderate level, and MuleSoft RPA is a bit not difficult, but it would take some time to build RPA processes your business process to get automated. With that, there are also personas involved, which also make a very huge difference in adoption rate of these applications. Namely, MuleSoft Composer was built with admin in mind. They are basically meant for admins to to integrate multiple systems very easily and not be dependent on developers. If you think about the previous scenario which I told, over the time, if we have a code or if you're using any other system, it becomes very difficult because it becomes a very difficult to integrate multiple systems over the time, because the developers became over the time, these developers can also become very confused because of having too many integration projects on them and too many dependencies on them. And also this can, over the time, this can also cause loss to the company because of because of more disconnected experiences they are getting. And because of that, MuleSoft Composer came into picture, where admin, without the help of developers, can now design integration solution or build integration solutions. Again, MuleSoft Anypoint platform is purely meant for developers, because sometimes, depending upon the use cases, you have to write Java code or you have to build out custom connectors as well. And MuleSoft RPA, you need a developer, even though you're not writing code in RPA, but you need a developer mindset to create RPA logic and let bot understand or work how to do it. So with that, I would rather again reiterate, MuleSoft Composer is purely meant for admin, where MuleSoft Anypoint platform and RPA is meant for developers. And again, MuleSoft Composer is very simple to adopt, whereas MuleSoft Anypoint platform, it depends upon the use case, where RPA is a bit complex. Why I told RPA is a bit complex? Because every product has its own life cycle, which improves the efficiency and the adoption rate of the product. Similarly, in Mulesoft RPA, we have evaluate, design, build, and then monitor phase, deploy and monitor phase. So what happens is that even if I design my process, I have to first evaluate, then I move to design. Even after designing, I have to move to the next process. And if I build an RPA bot over here, and so if suppose your business process changes today, and which is very common scenario, what happens is over the time, there will be a changes in the process which you do because of the company scale and how it is growing up. And because of that, RPA becomes a bit difficult, because again you have to retrack back, you have to move back to the build phase or the design phase, again do the same steps, and over the time it becomes a bit difficult to manage RPA. And because of that, I would say RPA, Microsoft RPA or RPA as a whole becomes very difficult if over the time. And because of that, you need to plan it accordingly, which tool is right to use depending upon the use cases. I did talk about Anypoint platform and Composer as well as RPA, and right now we will walk through a implementation demo on MuleSoft Composer. Again, MuleSoft Composer is a no-code integration platform specifically meant for admins. As a developer or any other person, you can still use it, not restricted, but it was implemented or created with the admin mindset. With that, this is our today's scenario where let's take an example. I am Meghesh. I go to a mall. Okay, I'm basically campaigning about my company. I open a company called Northern Trailers. Okay, and over there I am telling that I am selling bikes, scooters, and also there can be general inquiry. So I basically have a conversation with the clients and over there the customers in the mall. I write down their details in this Excel sheet. Once I write down the details in the Excel sheet, a case will automatically be created in Salesforce, and also my relevant the Slack channels, the people or the sales team in the Slack channel will be notified. One thing to note that sometimes it becomes very difficult to have Salesforce licenses to sales team. If suppose you have 20,000 people in your organization, and in terms of larger scale, having sometimes Salesforce licenses can become expensive, right? And for that reason, if suppose I have some 5 to 6,000 people whose job is to just roam around the country, to go to malls and write down and and create cases in Salesforce, rather than giving them Salesforce licenses and creating users in Salesforce. I would rather have it integrate my Google Sheets with Salesforce and also with Slack. With that, I can also save some money with my Salesforce licenses, also swiftly integrate my Google Sheet with Salesforce and have a real time data rather than having a data loss. So we went through our today's implementation demo, but before also analyze that which tool is rightly we can which is the right tool to be used in this case for this business process to get automated. The first question we ask ourselves is, do you interface with systems which have APIs? And we'll again go back, and my answer is yes. Google Sheets have APIs exposed, my Salesforce has API exposed, and also the Slack has APIs exposed. With that, the answer would be yes. Do you process documents or images? The answer is no. Do you interact with websites or legacy applications? Currently, I'm not interact with any websites particularly or legacy applications which have no API exposed. So answer is no. Do you need to perform complex data processing? No, I'm just taking out the data from my Google Sheet, reading out the data, and then sending out to my Salesforce and then to my Slack channel. Then the second last question: do you need to integrate systems not supported by Composer? Currently, we do have connectors for Google Sheets, Salesforce, and Slack in my Mulesoft Composer. So the answer to this question is no. Do you have extensive development experiences? For me, but right now I would behave as an admin because admin don't know how to write code, and for that reason I'm writing no over here. So With that, I came to know that Mulesoft Composer, because I'm an admin, I don't know how to write code. In neither do I'm interacting with legacy systems, and all the systems which I would be interacting have API exposed. With that, I came to know that Mulesoft Composer is the right tool to be used. If suppose I say there was a complex data processing, then I could have used Mulesoft Composer as well as Anypoint platform to interact with each other. As said, MuleSoft Anypoint platform, MuleSoft Composer, and MuleSoft RPA can interact with each other in a bi-directional data flow. With the help of that, you can have an end-to-end automation. So we came to know MuleSoft Composer is the right tool to be used for this business process to be automated. But before moving down to building out the solution, let's answer very few questions with the help of which we can outline an automation or design our flow. So where does the data come from and where does it go? So in my scenario, the data comes from Google Sheet. It then goes to Salesforce, create a lead record. So that it should be a lead. So it should lead records and then notify my Slack channel, my sales team over the Slack channel. Then second question, where does the data needs to be filtered? Currently, no. I Every lead is very precious to any organization or to me, and for that reason, I'm not filtering out any data. Then what transformation must be performed? Currently convert the data in the format that Salesforce and Slack requires, right? Every system would only accept specific data or the model of what responses it requires, and depending on that, I would send only that particular body to my external applications. In our today's scenario, it is Salesforce and Slack. Then, do different circumstances require different actions? Yes, because I am also selling, because the current organization where I am trying to automate the business process sells scooter, bike, and also they have another Slack channel where they would particularly answer customers query. And for that reason, I would filter out my leads and inform the relevant Slack the team on over the Slack channel that I have found out a lead, please kindly go to the customer. Because if suppose I have a bike, I'm selling a bike, a scooter, and I'm also answering to normal queries, right? And this is a very normal use case where, or general use case where each and every company must be having. If I would be having a sales team for the particular product, in my use case I have a specific set of people who are just who are just there in the bike sales team. Similarly for the scooter, and similarly set of sales team who can answer general queries. So I answered all of these questions. And right now, the last but not it's a last but not the least, but a very important question to ask yourself, that when determine the trigger run or the schedule, right? Because Mulesoft Composer also has a limited, it depending upon the package you purchase, it comes with a very restricted set of how much automations you can perform. So with that, I would I'm we have to be very double cautious over here. With that, I came to know that whenever a new row is inserted in my Google Sheets, then only I want my Mulesoft Composer to be triggered. We first analyzed which is the right tool to be used for this business process to be automated. Second thing, we answered few questions which would help us to design our MuleSoft Composer flows. And the third thing, this is a recommended step, but not a important, not a compulsory step, a recommended step, that before you're designing any MuleSoft Composer flows, use a flow chart to automate, to let you understand or visualize the business process. So currently, if you can see that I'm creating a new lead in my Google Sheets by entering the data, then my composer flow would be triggered based upon my trigger logic. And then a new lead record is created in Salesforce. Then I check in which product my customer is interested in. If in case of scooter, I will send a message to my Slack channel and alert my sales team who is particularly interested in my scooter sales. If my customer is interested in bike, then I would post a message to my bike sales team over the Slack channel that I have found a so and so customer. In case of general inquiries, I also have another set of people handling over to them, right? So let's move down to a real implementation over here. So before that, moving down, I would tell you that there are two ways that you can trigger your yeah.
So
So
let
let me
me.
go back.
Um,
So
so once
once
you
you
get
get
access
access
to
to
MuleSoft
Mulesoft
Composer,
Composer,
MuleSoft Composer
Composer
gets
gets
added
added
to
to
your
your
Salesforce
Salesforce
org
org
as a
as a
managed
managed
package.
package. Once you purchase the necessary licenses for Mulesoft Composer, you have to go to a app launcher and type in Mulesoft Composer. When you type in Mulesoft Composer, click on it, and then this will be your landing page over here. This will be your landing page. Once you have this landing page set up, go to your composer flows. We do have templates over here.
Basically,
If you have
have used
used Salesforce Lightning flows, over there we do have a templates where we can just click, and instead of me doing the same process again and again, just use those templates to
automation solutions
in
in my Salesforce org.
Salesforce. Over here, we do have the same thing in MuleSoft Composer. If I can see, I have my Salesforce to ServiceNow as well as Salesforce to my Jira, and the list goes on. So every now and then, these templates are updated, and also more templates will be added. So right now, once you get an access to MuleSoft Composer, you have to go your Composer Flows tab, and then if you want to build a new solution, go and click on New Flow. So once you click on New, I
App.
clicked yeah. So once you have clicked on the new flow, to
Thing
how
how
to
to trigger
trigger
it,
it,
right?
right?
Let it load and see.
So we have two options to trigger this MuleSoft Composer flow. First one is a system event. This system event is basically your external application which would then decide should the MuleSoft Composer flow should be triggered or not. Second thing is the scheduler. This scheduler based, so I will click on scheduler, and over here we can see that I can trigger this MuleSoft Composer flow by itself for every 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, and so. One thing to notice is that I can't have a custom cron expression over here to schedule my MuleSoft Composer flow. So whatever options are listed over here, you have to use those. Second thing, I'll go back, and uh, the first one is you can use a scheduler to trigger the MuleSoft Composer flow. The second one is to use a system event. So over here, I can see that there are Asana, Box, Gmail, Google Sheets, Marketo, Jira, and so on. Right? We do have a Slack.
So
So
whenever
whenever
so
if suppose
I
I
click
click on, there are a limited set of actions, and I have first. So
so that
that
means
means I
that I
need
had
to
to build a
create
connection between
between
a
MuleSoft Composer flow and my Salesforce org. So when I click on new connection over here, so in case of sandboxes, I had to check this checkbox and give out a name to
a new tab will be
open,
open.
enter
Enter
my
my
Salesforce
Salesforce credentials.
credentials, get yourself authenticated if you have MFA enabled, and then you have successfully built a connection between your MuleSoft Composer flow and your Salesforce org. So currently, if I click on my Salesforce dev org, so that these are the very specific actions based upon which my MuleSoft Composer flow would be triggered on a new record created, new or updated record, or deleted record. So if I click on new record and click on select the object type for now for demo purposes or for just for displaying, or click on account, then I could trigger my account record over here. So whenever I create a new account, so I can also set the logic. So based upon that, I can only trigger the MuleSoft Composer flow for certain conditions. So right now, I did tell you about
So
Composer
composer
flow. First one is scheduler. Scheduler with basically MuleSoft Composer flow would trigger itself with the help of the scheduler, like the time interval you have kept, like for every 15 minutes or 30 minutes. Second thing, it is using an system event, or external SaaS application would decide when your MuleSoft Composer flow should be triggered. So for the use cases, I have already built out a logic over here. So if you can see that I have successfully build a connection between my Google Sheets and my Salesforce org, as well as to my Slack channels. So Again, coming back to this, if we can see this flowchart, so when a new lead record is created in Google Sheets, a new lead is created in my Salesforce. Then I check in which in which product the customer is interested in. If the customer is interested in bike, then I would inform my bike sales team. If the customer is interested in scooter, then I would inform the scooter sales team. If my customer just wants to know about our brand and want, and we can't neglect a lead, the lead however it can be. Sometimes, if what if the lead can convert into an opportunity, can bring you account, can it can be converted to account and opportunity, right? So every lead is very important for dedicated team to set up where they can answer general queries and try to convince and convert the client from lead to account and opportunity. So over here I have already have a lead sheet created over here. Okay, this is a lead sheet where where my sales team would take, or the sales team who is performing campaign in my Phoenix Mall in Mumbai. Okay, he or she is performing a campaign. So I take down these details of my leads: the first name, the last name, email, phone number, source, company, and interested in which product the customer is interested in. Now I am using a Mulesoft Composer, because I'm using a Google Sheet, or I can also use a I can also use a Excel sheet, say Microsoft Excel sheet, and get it and upload it to my Google Sheets, and then I can get it automated using Mulesoft Composer. But sometimes we do write, sales team would also write down on some sheets and all, right? So if suppose I go to Phoenix Mall, which is very very crowded, write it over the sheets, and becomes very much, it becomes a very much, I would say, double effort for my sales team to read those and then enter into the system. So over here we can use MuleSoft RPA. MuleSoft RPA has a program called also known as optical character recognition. With the help of that, it can recognize the handwritten text and then convert that handwritten into a machine readable data. Then I can use, so this will be invoked by my MuleSoft Composer. MuleSoft Composer would invoke my MuleSoft RPA bot. It would then, on when a mail is sales team, that is to me, then RPA bot would handwritten data, the lead data, data, back to MuleSoft Composer. Then MuleSoft Composer would send that data for complex data processing to my Anypoint platform. Anypoint platform would then reprocess the data into more readable format and more valid format, such that whenever I get the data to my MuleSoft Composer, it would then create the lead records into my Salesforce org. So this is one of the use cases. As of now, my sales team are simply using Google Sheets, because they are using Google Sheets and it is a machine readable data and it is very easy to use, and also have a valid connector in my MuleSoft Composer. I don't need to use RPA or Anypoint platform, because this is a very simple business use case. So I will write down, if I write down any line over here, so first I will click on test. So whenever I click on test, a a application would be deployed on Cloud Hub 2.0. And the another thing is that you can't configure parameters such as vCores or number of workers on that Cloud Hub. It is automatically managed by MuleSoft for you, so you don't have to look that. Again, saying MuleSoft Composer was built with the admin mindset, so the person with admin would, they won't know about this vCores and all, right? And for those reasons, MuleSoft will do it for you. You don't have to configure anything. You just have to sit and chill. So first thing is, over here it is a lead and it would go into the C. So this is the trigger. Okay, I would choose an event that starts this flow. So I'm setting the triggering logic. So whenever I insert a new row, then I would point out to this Google
So I have kept this name as lead Phoenix Mall, the lead and the team. So I entered the lead Phoenix Mall.
Then I point it down to which worksheet. Sometimes this Excel sheet may be having double or triple worksheets, right? Depending upon your use cases. So with that, I have pointed out to sheet one, the sheet in this worksheet, in the spreadsheet. So then Once I import this, I can now select the data. So right now I would display you first the demo, and then I would show you how I have done it. So let me back. So I have already have these data over here. Yeah, give me a second. Yeah, so already have set up the data for time, no, to in order to save time, and let me paste it over here. Okay, let me paste it over here. See, pasted down the data. Let's see what happens over here. So now, because my Mulesoft Composer flow would then, wait for the data process to happen, it
query
query my
continuously query the Google Sheets.
so because I entered the data, only one data, and
Able to
I
would
would
again
again
retest it.
wait. Let me remove this and again redo that. So right now, again click on test. Not be triggered instantaneously
When you enter the
data. It
query your Google
completely
Sheets for newly created for newly
inserted rows. So let me enter this over here again, and yeah, see, I've entered this. Let's wait for my composer to understand about more about it, right? So with that, this processing happening, I would also show you another flow which I have built for case. This is a lead handling mechanism which I have built. Another, I have built a case handling mechanism. In case handling mechanism, again, when I create, if I can see that I go to my Salesforce, and whenever I create a case, now every organization may be having a VIP account set up where there is a different case handling mechanism for VIPs as well as for normal accounts. Now, because they are VIPs and they bring businesses to your organization, they are also very important, and hence every organization has a different mechanism to set up. So same thing over here. What I have done, so whenever a new case is created, I have set the triggering event as a new record, object type as case. So I can select any object over here. So as of now, I have set it up as case. So then I want my every case, I want to look after my every case and get that resolved as soon as possible for having a better customer experience, for giving a better customer experience. So this Mulesoft Composer flow would be triggered when a new case record is created. Then I simply check if my client, if the account or the customer is a VIP or not. So I have set up a VIP flag over here, and I check if it is true or not. If it is true, then my this if block will be executed and this would be ignored, right? This is a standard if else behavior. So over here, if I can see if this VIP is true, then I would send a Google Calendar invite to my regional manager, because it's a VIP account and a more priority or more attention should be given. Then I send it to my regional manager over there with end time, and I set these details and also the case details over here. So if I can see over here, see, this is no it creates a Google Calendar invite to my regional manager. In this case, it is me. So once this is done, then I would inform my regional manager over the Slack as well, because it's a VIP customer. I can't lose a VIP customer because they bring business to my organization, right? So I also send a direct message to my regional manager. So once this is done, this is all for the VIP customer. Also, other accounts or customers are also very important to me, right? If there is a case, I won't also let it be set over there for a longer period. So I check if the customer belongs to a north region or the east region as of now. So if the customer belongs to a north region, I would simply again send a message to my north service team, over the Slack channel, that see, we have received a case, kindly look into this. So any of the representative in that service team can look after that. And same thing for the east service team, because as of now I kept it as an else block, because this organization is just catering to north and the east region. So with the help of that, I can now, say I post a message to channel. The action is post a message to channel. The channel name is again the e-service team over here, and then the message, the relevant message. Let's see if it is still waiting. Let me enter the data again. Yeah. So if I show you over here, so yeah, so whenever there is an account over here, see, so this message would be pushed by my Mulesoft composer into the Slack channel that a customer has raised a case with the relevant case details, like the case number, the case description, and the email as well. And same thing for my North service team over here. So if the customer belongs to a North service team, then again the not the representatives in this channel would then look after this customer based upon the availability. In case of VIP customer, then I would receive a message directly to the regional. I would send a message directly to the regional manager, right? So for that reason, I would receive the message directly, which is, this is a direct message from Ubisoft Composer to me, because in this case I am the regional manager of this organization. So it sends out the data that a VIP customer has raised a case with the relevant case details. As well, I have added a linelet as a precaution. Calendar invite has been sent to you. So I'm getting error. I'm not sure why, but this is like all about your Mulesoft composer. And going back to our, so let me show you the working of this at least. Yeah, let me click on test once. So as said, when I click on test, the application would then be deployed to Cloud Hub 2.0. So and then it would allocate 10 minutes of time for your application to test. So let me go back. So this is the account which I have. Okay, this is the account, and if I can see that this is not a VIP. I have I set the flag on the account, and then in the case I use the formula fields to reference the values for region and the VIP check. So I check that this is a VIP or not, and the same thing I have for my other account, which is the each VIP check is true and the region is reached. So let me show you the first scenario where the if the case belongs to a VIP customer, right? So let me delete this once for to better understand. Yeah. So this is my VIP customer Gene Point, and now I create a case over here. Case origin as a web, and let me fill out details. Okay, and additional information, just write the case as, okay. Now I would again, let me check if the flow I've set to test, and yes, I would then click on save. Okay, now I have created a case record. So if I can go back and check, so as said that this is not 100% real time, but this is very near real time. That means that once I create a record, it would wait for a few minutes because it queries my Salesforce org for a very short interval again and again, and then based upon that, it would not it would execute. My flow would get execute. So right now, since I have created the case record in my Salesforce org, it will now query my Salesforce org to understand that whether a new case record has been created or not. So let us wait for a few more seconds to get it to let it recognize. Yeah, see, so it has recognized that a new case record has been created in my Salesforce org. Right now it is processing, and let's wait. See, the test finished. So if we can see that it was a VIP customer, yes, and it this if block this if block resulted true, then it would then send out a Google Calendar invite with the necessary details to my regional manager, as well as send a Slack message to my regional manager. So if you can see this 4:56, this is the message which I have, this is the Google Calendar invite which I have received for my VIP customer. And you can see that a new I've received a message as well, as because I'm a regional manager, that a new case record has been created, kindly look into this, and as a precaution, calendar invite has already been sent to you. So this is from a demo perspective. Okay, not I can show the thing is that how it is working for VIP and how it is working for not, it's the very same thing, right? If it is not a VIP customer, in case of Burlington, I can show Burlington account. If you can see, this is not a VIP. Then now, because now it will go to the east region and it will check which region the customer belongs to. The customer right now belongs to a east region, right? Then my east and my service team in the east region would then receive the Slack message over here. So let me go back and show it to you, for at least for this region, and click on new. So right now I have this case record created, and it's not a VIP customer, and the customer belongs to an east region. So let me click on save. So let my composer, because I clicked on test, let my composer understand that this case record has been created or not. So let it understand. Till then, we will move down to the another part of this composer flow, which is error handling. uh we went through composer and all. So whenever we go through products, we the first thing comes to our mind after going through the features of the product, that what about error handling? Because error handling is also a very important feature. I would rather say that how we handle errors in each and every application or product. So in this case, currently there are no error handling mechanisms in here. So basically, when you click on the activate button and when your composer flow fails, a log will be generated with the status has failed and the error known. So you can go through the logs and understand what is happening around over here. So this is just for the error handling perspective. Now there are already some things happening for the error global error handling mechanism being set up in Mulesoft Composer. I think it is part of our roadmap, but not sure when it would be released. So this is one perspective of it. So let me go back and check if composer, yeah,
That
like the customer is a case record has been created, and the customer now belongs to the east region, and because of that, now a message has been pushed to the Slack channel. So if I can see over here, each service team, and you can see that a new case record has been created with my seat cover is not properly fitted. Kindly look into this and with the necessary case details. So, and now I am a service person, so I would just take the case number, go to Salesforce, and then check out what is the issue the client, my customer is facing in. So, resolve that issue and make the client happy. This is what customer 365 is all about, making the clients happy and bringing more, increasing, scaling your businesses, and improve end-to-end automations as well, right? So yeah, uh, we went through composer with a demo and error handling. So regarding connectors, as of now there are 26 connectors, and right now, it has been increased by one or two. I think the new one, it is um, Sage Intact, and also SAP for HANA connector, which we saw. So with that, I think the count must have been around 27, 28. With that, if suppose you have an external web service hosted, your company is using a custom web service which you have built, and you don't have a connector for it available, right? So there is a very generic connector called an HTTP connector, where you have to enter your URL over here, or the address, and then you have to choose the authentication mechanism, get it authenticated, and then you can use the you have successfully now integrated your Mulesoft Composer with that web service. And now whenever this flow is triggered, it would then also query your web service over there, and then bring the responses according to your business use case. So um, we went through a Mulesoft automation package, then Mulesoft Composer, which personas are fitted for Mulesoft Composer and also for other Mulesoft automation package products. Then we went through implementation demo, a live demo upon Mulesoft Composer, the global error handling mechanism, the connectors, and now we will go through key considerations which matters a lot when using MuleSoft Composer. First thing, it is reusability. Currently, in Salesforce Lightning flows, we can create auto launch flows. Call those auto launch flows in my screen flow or record trigger flow based upon how you need it, and you have your it has reusability factor. But in Composer flows, we don't have this reusability available. So in my Composer, whatever flows I am creating, it cannot be called by from other flows, right? So the first restriction is about reusability. Then second thing, there is no sandbox to production concept in my Composer flow. So your MuleSoft Composer automation package, your managed package, would be directly installed in your production org. Now you would be wondering, why would I install a managed package directly into a production org and not test it in my sandboxes? Uh, the thing is that currently, as said, they don't have sandbox to production. But what you can do, you can point your, so whenever I showed you in my demo that when you are trying to validate or insert it, like build a connection, point your MuleSoft Composer flow directly to those, I would say, to the sandboxes. Okay, make a connection to sandboxes, and then you can use it according to your needs. It won't play with your data, so your data is secure, and this too would work. So once you are very sure that your Composer is performing as expected, what you can do, you can simply change the connections over there. So now you can change the connections from sandboxes to now production. Let the Composer point to production directly. So that is also a step which I would show you. Then there is no versioning available in Composer flows. In my Lightning flows, whenever I create a flow over there and I save it, I can also make versions of the same flows, right? But here it is not the case. Every time I create a flow, it would be a new flow altogether. Then as said, it is not 100% real time, but it is near real time. That means that it won't process instantaneously. It would wait for a few seconds or minutes to understand and then process it. The fifth and the second last point is each record processed count as each task. What do I mean by task? So whenever you purchase a MuleSoft Composer standalone package or a MuleSoft automation package, there are also a set of tasks, or I'm a task or credit points with that. So whenever you send a data to, I mean, if suppose right now I'm sending data to Slack and Salesforce, right? If I send one data, then that would be counted as one task record, and if I'm sending it to Slack as well, then it will count it as two task. So the fifth point is about the number of tasks consumed for each process, and then the last point is about the bulk data operations. So every organization must be having bulk data transactions as well, right? Every single day. So Mulesoft Composer is not meant for bulk data operations, right? As said, that it works synchronously. That means that if I have 5 records created in Salesforce, the composer flow would be triggered 5 times. So if you can see that if I do it for bulk data operations, whatever limit you got with the composer flow package or organization as per se, that would be exhausted very quickly. So you need to be very cautious about your bulk data operations. And as said, if you think that your business process has having bulk data operations in it, then Mulesoft Composer is not the right to Mulesoft Anypoint platform, because MuleSoft Anypoint platform gives a granular control over your executions where MuleSoft Composer does not. We went through so many things about MuleSoft Composer, but how can we start? We learned so many things in this session as well, from me telling you about the Composer and MuleSoft automation, how to get started with our journey in MuleSoft and MuleSoft Composer, and also learn other things. So with MuleSoft Composer right now, it's not freely available, but MuleSoft is conducting workshops for this Composer once a month. As of now, they not sure on the dates, but they would schedule it at least once a month or so, depending upon them. So when you once you enroll into this workshops, you would be getting access to MuleSoft Composer for the limited set of time. Second thing, if your organization where you're working is a partner organization, then get in touch with your Salesforce account executive, partner executive over there, to secure access to MuleSoft Composer. Third thing, once you get access to MuleSoft Composer, or if you don't get access to MuleSoft Composer, there are trail modules as well, right? So if you can go through trail mixes, as well as if suppose you encounter an issue, or you have a query in your mind, don't keep it in your mind. Be part of the Salesforce Trailblazer community forum. Post your messages over there. Once you post a message, there is a very high chance, because the Trailblazer community forum is very active in Composer and RPA. So whenever you post a query, then it can be answered by any of the person over there, experienced folk over there who are used MuleSoft Composer as well as RPA and MuleSoft as well. And also, not only this, your product managers or MuleSoft are also active, so they may also be there to solve your queries. So be part of the Salesforce Trailblazer community forum as well. And if suppose you are still not able to secure access, or have some waiting period to secure access, there is a trailer simulator available. So this trailer simulator currently is catering to one business use case, which is connecting your Salesforce to Slack. I can pass you this link. So once you open this link, it's basically your web pages, like, I mean, the images of web pages. Where you click on it, it would a bit interactive, but it is still, it is not a proper Mulesoft Composer instance. So as said, be part of this Trailblazer community forum. Isabella is heading this forum, and I would say that whenever you post a query, we are very active on this forum. So you question, we are there to answer you. None of the questions remain unanswered in this forum. Everyone are active. So, with that, thank you very much for attending today's session. I hope you learned something new about MuleSoft Automation Package and also MuleSoft Composer overall. Thank you. And I'm open to any type of queries as of now. Let me know.
Thank you, Mahesh. I see there was a question related to free version available for MuleSoft Composer, which I think you already answered. So,
Yeah.
can you just post the links on the chat so that people can actually go in, join those community groups and available, and they can look onto the one free version that you are talking on the Trailhead, right? Simulator version.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Can
I
you
would.
just post that?
Yeah.
So, team, the people who are still on the call and can ask any question. We have Nagesh here to answer those.
So yeah, yeah. So this link which I'm sharing right now.
Yep. I'll go ahead and stop the recording.
So this is the Trailblazer